And we are back, everyone. Welcome back to another week of All of This Happened Before. Because all of this did happen before. And again, and again, and again, right? Now, I am Tyler, joined by Hoochman. Say hello. And Kat.
Hello.
Say hello. And none of us are Cylons. I mean, no.
Are you sure about that?
I'm a sleeper cell. I don't know anything. No.
Oh, okay.
I'm just like Boomer. I'm waking up confused about what just happened. But we are back this week with episode 3, right? Yeah, episode 3 of season 1 of Battlestar Galactica, and I'm gonna say the name. Hoochman, do you want to say the name again? Because I always pronounce it wrong.
Bastille Day.
There we go. And I was just learning some historical.
I can give you all a reference to that. Bastille Day happened on July 14th, 1789, and it was part of the French Revolution where they raided the prison Bastille, it was Bastille Castle, which was believed to have been a prison for political prisoners, but it turned out there were only 7 in there. But it's still a big deal. It was a major point in bringing about the French Revolution.
And here I thought it was just Les Mis. But hey, guys, I didn't think you guys probably didn't know you were going to learn something today. There we go.
But I mean, it just goes back to the point of all this has happened before.
This is true. All of this did happen before. Let's see. Since we had so much fun last time with notes, I have my notes. Always my notes are just apparently so descriptive.
It's like Pictionary.
Right? I wrote Ty and his whiskey regular occurrences as we start off the show.
Well, but we kind of talked about that last episode too, that like him drawing the lines on the bottle.
It's just going to be a thing. I wonder how long it'll be a thing until he actually runs out of whiskey.
So what I think he's doing with watching the way that he was pouring it, because obviously he knows he can't run the battalion drinking the way he was, right?
I mean,
but they also can't have him going into detox because they do not have the extra medical supplies to deal with that level.
Hoochman drinking some whiskey right now with us. I see how it is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to share.
So by taking those small little capfuls, that's basically holding off a very, very bad detox situation.
Hopefully he's already prepping to make some more whiskey, some toilet whiskey somewhere else.
Well, I mean, they've probably got the stuff to do it. It doesn't take much.
Do you mean hooch?
Yes.
We wouldn't know anything about that. No. I did write. I said question marks. I wrote bottle looks like it has more in it than it did last week. I'm not sure if that means a different bottle or.
I mean, that could have just been a prop guy mistake.
Yeah, maybe. But I was like, why does the bottle look a little bit?
Could be another bottle. That could be times past, and he's found another bottle.
It turns out that symbolic bottle that he poured was nothing because he had 27 of them under his mattress.
Right?
And so, like, it really didn't. It was symbolic, and then he's like, "Oh, fuck that! I'm just gonna go open up a new one."
I don't know what I was thinking, man.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking at all.
I thought today was gonna be a good day to quit drinking. Then this happened.
In 33 minutes every time.
Cheers, everybody.
You made me think of Airplane. Chose the wrong day to stop sniffing glue.
Yep.
I have written Colonel Ty acting like an old fart.
He is an old fart.
He is, but he's just acting more like one. Oh, you kids, get off my damn lawn. I
do that.
I'm not trying to call you out. You're calling yourself out right now. I don't know how else to help you there. I have okay. So as we left off last time, they found water, right? They found the frozen chunks of ice on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
They are now coming up trying to figure out how to go get that ice. So this relatively picks up pretty damn close to where last week's episode left off.
Right.
Because I think last week they had said what the fleet would run out of water in 4 or 5 days, wasn't it? Something like that.
Right.
So we must be still in that range.
Yeah.
They are like, okay, we know where the planet is. It's down below. We got to go get it. However, it's going to be dangerous. We're going to need, I think.
Well, there's a couple of things that they noticed. One, there's actually a liquid ocean underneath the ice.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that is that the liquid ocean would be easier to get to, but it had a lot of salt in it.
Yeah.
Which they didn't have the desalination facilities. But the frozen ice
was more
clear. Was clean drinking water, but it's harder to get.
Yeah. Because
they have to break it down, then they have to thaw it out, turn it into water, and then ship it up.
You know, I have a question on that. So, they talk about how they have to melt it there before they bring it up. So why wouldn't you just bring it up as chunks and melt it up here?
That would actually
be easier
be
transport.
No.
Oh, it wouldn't.
No. So water is one of those weird substances that actually gets heavier when it's solid.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So you wouldn't be able to move as much of it as solid blocks of ice.
I guess that's probably fair.
Or you'd have to have something very large to transport it in.
Well, yeah, I didn't think it expands when it becomes hard, when it becomes solid.
Right. So then and plus if they move all these blocks up and then they really actually don't have enough water in their tanks, then they'd have to redeploy everyone back down to get more blocks of ice. Where if you're melting it and loading it simultaneously,
mm-hmm.
you're going to know when your tanks are at capacity.
That's fair. And I think they give them an estimation was it 1,000 men?
It would take at minimum 1,000 men.
Yeah. Men, yeah. So that's a lot of people.
I think that's really sexist.
Well, I think they're using men in the generic term of like mankind.
Yeah, just being silly.
I mean, we're not far enough yet. They might be a sexist organization. We just don't know it yet. So yeah, they need 1,000 men to go down there, and of course they're like, that's not really something that we easily can accessibly have.
Wait a minute, but they do.
Well, it turns out that there is a ship among their fleet that is a prison transport ship, which I do kind of find weirdly funny, and I'm going to tell you why I find it funny. Because one, that means that ship had is a hyperdrive. What are they using? Is a hyperdrive or hyperspace? What is it called again?
Faster than light drives.
FTL.
Okay. So they have that, but then the ships that they abandoned didn't. So it's funny that one had it. And then,
well, it depends on how far it needed to travel. If that was traveling from the other colonies to bring people to Caprica for parole hearing, then they would need it. Because they're going from another colony like Toron or whatever.
Also, the most common time when someone is going to try to break out a prisoner is during transportation.
Sure.
So being a prison ship, they would need to be able to get away, outmaneuver something.
I guess what I get to is I'm surprised that there was no quick thought of what if we just rip that drive out, put it onto one of the other places, like the cool one that has the dome and the trees. And
they didn't have time.
Yeah, there was no way there was enough time for that.
You got to remember,
they didn't know that at the time.
Yeah, these jump drives are built in integrally to the ships. You can tell just by looking at how Galactica. Well, you haven't seen it yet, but how it is it's very integral to the center of the mission of the actual ship. To rip it out, you would have to rip out the entire ship basically to do it.
Yeah, so it's like rebuilding an engine in a car.
I mean,
and even mechanics who know how to who do nothing but pull engines and transmissions all day long, that is still 8 to 12 hours for a small block engine.
It would be more than that for something like that.
Yeah.
But if we had 1,000 men,
they're not going. They wouldn't be able to do it in 33 minutes.
Water.
Well, they decided with the prison transport that these people could be the labor. Obviously, a lot of people have some reservations, which understandably, they're like, hey, I get that these guys were prisoners, but we don't want to become, just because we are in a really bad state of affairs with humanity, we don't want to sink to this point that we start using slave labor. We don't want to force these people to do something that could kill them. And so
I thought the name of the prison ship was rather odd, though.
what was it called again?
The Astral Queen.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice for a prison transport.
I'm getting chortles from the peanut gallery on that.
What I like, so basically, guys, what's going to happen is that the Apollo is going to come up with this idea that we should offer up a program where people can offer
points.
Yeah, freedom points to offer up their labor, and they will earn points to be free into the colonies. So it's
the fleet.
Yeah, and so they're giving them the ability to voluntarily go and do this labor with their getting their freedom, which again has its own morality view, how you want to take it.
I mean, honestly, the prison systems nowadays work that way.
Mm-hmm.
People that get released for good behavior, or they get paroled early for good behavior. That's really all it is you aren't picking fights.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're
Mm-hmm.
doing the program.
Mm-hmm.
So that therefore can make you eligible for early parole, early release, added benefits within like job opportunities within the prison systems for those that are like mid to minimum security. And it's really not that much different than back in this 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s,
mm-hmm.
when someone would get in trouble and the judge would say, all right, we're going to give you an option. You've got the option of prison or the military. Which do you want?
And you also have to remember, like I said earlier, the Astral Queen was traveling to Caprica for parole hearings.
Mm-hmm.
All 1,000 of those people were up for parole. They weren't. They'd already done most of their time, and they were up for.
They didn't. So what they specifically said was most of these people were likely on their way to parole. They didn't say all of them were. They said most likely they were on. So some of them could be just simply being transported from one prison to the other.
I mean, they didn't know they had Charles Manson on board. Apparently, it's fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's some bad people that I don't think were up for parole. But
but in their defense, though,
mm-hmm.
even people who are on lifetime sentences,
mm-hmm.
periodically, they are eligible for a parole hearing.
Oh,
now,
sure.
it doesn't mean that parole is granted,
mm-hmm.
but they get to speak their piece and try to convince them that they are ready to return as a productive member of society.
Yeah, instead of 6 life sentences, you get 5 now. Yay.
Right. Yeah.
And so Apollo's going to go over to the prison ship to try to talk to the prisoners. I find the entire set ridiculous. And let me tell you why with this prison ship. Because one, we do end up seeing that this ship is a relatively pretty large ship. When we see it on the outside, when we see the Raptor go across, it's a pretty relatively large ship. However, for 90% of the ship, we're going to see in this just one little room, basically, the main prison room, which I'm going to say is little compared to the ship, right? Like it's really not that big. 2, I really love that when he's talking down to them, right? He's up above talking to them because they're all in little cages. There's like smoke in the air. Did you guys catch that?
Steam.
I think I was too enamored at the fact that it looked like they were dog kennels.
They did look like they were dog kennels. Yes.
They looked like they were double stacked dog kennels.
That could go back to the name though. It could have just been a converted freighter.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. I just found it really. Maybe it was steam, but it just looked. I was like, why is there like smoke? And what is going? I was just like, what is going on? And then
just set dressing.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Just set dressing.
Yeah, well, I think it was also, if you think back to sci-fi in general,
mm-hmm.
anytime there is something that is supposed to be gritty and dirty and industrial, like this prison ship would have been.
Sure.
There's always the steam, the smoke, the pollution.
It just didn't make a lot of sense for this. I just was like, this is a ship. It's not. Where where is it going? Where's it coming from? I don't know. I could not stop looking at it every time they showed it because it was in every scene that they had in the backdrop, and I was like, what? Okay. I mean, I was almost with the prisoners. If there's tons of smoke on board, I'm like, well, shit, you're giving me cancer being in these jail cells. So come on, guys, maybe this isn't so great.
I mean, I would have been of the mindset of, well, kind of like they talked about when they were like, well, what incentive do they have to want to do this? Well, that transport isn't meant to be a long-term stay.
Yeah, nope. It was just supposed to be
so maybe they just want to get out and stretch their legs and breathe some air.
Other reason why I think it's a converted freighter.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's see here. Galactica reporting to Adama. Oh yeah, so Galactica and Adama kind of dealing with the criminals because they have to. He wants them to be under military command. He doesn't want them to be under civilian command. He wants to make sure that civilians are protected by these criminals. I do like that when they are putting together the crew to go over with Adama, the president's aide there is asked, like, what people can go over there and help this situation happen. And he basically gets his girlfriend assigned to the role to be there, the girl that he's really interested in. And you could tell that everyone's like, okay. And he's like, she's really good at what she does. She should totally be there. Really? Okay. Obviously, he's trying to find a way to flirt and get close to her, and he has no idea what he's doing. Nothing says romance like come to a prison ship. Kinky. Let's see. We had I wrote business versus drama sides. Oh yes, because throughout this entire episode, there is going to be that back and forth about picking a side, right? Especially for Apollo, because Adama feels like he's not choosing the right direction. Basically, a lot of people are pulling him in different directions, so they don't know whose side is he on, right? And so I think that's kind of an undertone that's going to be throughout this entire episode, because they bring it up, I think, 3 or 4 times, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like it's a thing that we see a lot. Let's see. When they do go to approach and talk to the prisoners, they offer them the freedom points, and one person steps out of the cage to address Adama, and it is a known terrorist or freedom fighter, who says, "We respectfully decline."
Zarek.
Yes. Of course, this becomes a whole thing because, as we talked about, he's a kind of a political prisoner.
He's a terrorist.
He's a terrorist. Yeah.
Yeah. But for some people, he's seen as a freedom fighter. So like that, again, that becomes that whole conflict. We see that the president's aide sees him as the freedom fighter, where like his girlfriend is very like that guy's a fucking terrorist. And so that causes some friction, as well as we kind of get the better sense. And I kind of think that's an interesting way to do that, because it really mirrors reality, where a lot of people that can see someone can come off as very different to 2 different people depending on where they're standing, where they view what their actions do, right?
All terrorists are freedom fighters, and all freedom fighters are terrorists depending on your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's fair.
It gets back to the concept of, and we discussed it a little bit on the last episode, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
What is normal to the spider is chaos to the fly.
We then jump back to Caprica, where Boomer and Hilo are just trying to
walking through the set of The Walking Dead.
Yep. They're walking through a city that's empty and nothing there. We do see that Boomer gets frightened by rats.
It wasn't the rats so much. It was the body they were chewing on.
I thought she jumped at first the rats, and then she jumped again for the...
Yeah, but that was the bit that really upset her. The rat just startled her, and then she saw the body and went...
Because the body had basically... They don't show it in graphic detail.
You just see like his foot, don't we?
Yeah, like his legs.
Something
Yeah.
happened. Yeah.
But I'm guessing the body probably had slowly decomposed from radiation.
Well, what I wonder too,
Or even natural decomposition.
Well, yeah, because it's been long enough that
Mhm.
natural decomp
yeah,
added
'Cause
with radiation. Because remember, they keep talking about how they only have so much medication to stave
Mhm.
off the radiation sickness.
because that's why they're in the city. They're looking for
Mhm.
more radiation medication just to keep going.
They need some rat away.
Yeah, it's
Right?
I do find it funny. Just I guess it's to scare away the rats, right? When he starts shooting, right? Because he takes his gun and pulls out and he starts shooting. Because what else are you doing with the gun? Because theoretically that guy's dead.
Well, and I guess my thing is like, and mind you, I don't live in an area that has a ton of rats or a ton of rodents.
Mhm.
But one thing I do know is rodents aren't like packs of dogs.
Yeah.
Like you have a pack of dogs, you're in the woods and you shoot at them to scare them off. And they just scatter.
Mhm.
Rodents don't have the same kind of mindset.
Yeah, I don't see that they're gonna run away that much. Like,
Yeah, like I could see like a couple of them being startled and maybe going off, but the rest are like, man, we got lunch.
yeah,
You know.
Well, I guess bullets are plenty. I mean, because he shoots them several times, doesn't he?
It was not. They didn't think much on that part. I don't think.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, well, okay.
Well, I think this was also back in the day of unlimited bullets.
Mm.
Before TV shows and movies started realizing, wait a minute, people are counting how many shots are fired by that 6 shooter.
Oh, so this is a Western. Oh, okay, gotcha. Now I'm all sense.
Well, I mean, space Western. It really, Final Frontier and all
space
that.
Western works. It's fine.
Yeah.
We do see that when they're walking through the city that they're being watched by Cylons, number 6, and my God, I forget what his name is.
5.
Yeah, and so they're kind of commenting on how well she's doing at playing the role of the, kind of romancing Hilo as well as getting his guard down to lead them the way that wherever they're trying to go, it's working, and so they're impressed by it. Let's see here. We then have we go back to the prison ship. We see that, as we talked about, the aide and the girl he likes, those two are kind of starting to bicker over the freedom fighter terrorist situation where they just don't agree on his position.
Well, some of that, though, too, is because she was from the area that he attacked.
Yes, which understandable. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a lot of people are still conflicted on 9/11.
It was a 5.
So there's still like there's still people that are conflicted on that because it happened on our soil, and like people who were there that day are still to this day conflicted by that. So it's understandable that if she grew up where this man committed this horrible act, that she would have some mixed feelings. She would see him as the bad guy.
I think the only place that didn't have mixed feelings was that mattress store that did not go very well.
Yeah.
Bad choice of sales. About this time, as they're arguing, the prisoners, Adama has gone down to, Apollo has gone down to go talk to the leader, the terrorist freedom fighter. He is kind of explaining to him, like, the rough nature of how they're being treated in the prison, right? Supposedly it's just it's so inhumane, and he's kind of giving him this very depiction of like, oh, where you come from, military, everything is just great, whatever, you've never had to fight for anything in your life, look at us, we're down in the trenches, and we're all this, the typical stuff you hear in these situations, right? Nothing new, the situation we always hear in these stories. About this time, though, we see that the prisoners are all kind of nodding and connecting. One of the guards is working with them, and they start a prison break.
It's a tarp. Sorry, it's a trap.
I was like, what? And so, yeah, we see the prison, all the gates open, all the prisoners running around. They capture everyone. there's obviously more prisoners than there are of guards, apparently, and there's more prisoners of anyone else on board this ship. So it's definitely like the prisoners now own this ship. They take control of it very quickly. They throw the people who are from Galactica into cages, and they are going to seize the opportunity to control the ship.
Right.
Let's see what we got here. We do talk about I think I don't know if this was as the right before, was this right before the actual gates open, or if it's just after. But basically, when Apollo is talking to, I can't say his name. I'm gonna forget his name every time. But I'm just gonna keep saying Freedom Fighter, and you can correct me every time because I'm okay with that. Yeah. Where he's talking about how he wrote a novel about his views and
memoirs, kind of.
Yeah, and so
manifesto.
And Apollo had read it when he was younger on his university grounds. And at first he brings that up. He's like, "Oh, well, I guess that's where my book is now." And he goes, "Actually, it's not. It's banned, but I still smuggled one there to read it." And so I don't want to say he sides with him, but he does say that he understands him, right? He doesn't disagree with a lot of his views. And so I find it interesting because when he does when the roles reverse, when now Apollo's being thrown into the cell and the terrorist is in charge, he kind of asks him, that same, how do you feel about me now? You seemed like you were trying to relate to me. You were trying to connect with me about how you read my book and everything. Do you still see me as that freedom fighter? And you could see that Apollo is now very conflicted on that, right? Because it's like, well, now that I'm on the brute end of that, maybe I have different opinions.
But the other thing too is he also gave Apollo the opportunity to stay in his cell.
He did. You are correct.
That was one of the things is, they're talking about this and he's like, as it all kind of started to kick off, he said, I recommend you stay right here.
Yeah.
And Apollo did not do that. He did the family trait of the Adamas and went charging into 1,000 angry men that have because really being a prison ship in these circumstances, for a lot of them, they may already basically feel like, hey, we're going to be the next ship cut if we're not needed.
We're going to get lost in the next jump, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, they're prisoners. And the general thought is no one cares about prisoners. And no one cares, even though some of them have made probably great leaps and bounds since they were incarcerated, to become better people, to work the programs, etc. But no one sees that. They just see them as people who broke the law and are criminals.
One of my favorite, I don't know if I want to say not versions, but one of my favorite tellings of this is in the Dark Knight, right, where the Joker has put a bomb both on the regular, civilian ship as well as the ship that has all the prison, inmates, and he puts the detonator for each other's ships on the other boats, and basically tells them that one of the boats will survive if you blow up the other one. You have until midnight to do it. And so that internal fight, right? Because as you just talked about, the civilians all see the prisoners. They have their chance. They messed up society. They need to go. They need to die. And they even so like, oh, they're gonna blow us up for sure. They're gonna be the ones that kill us. They're the bad guys. They've already done bad things. And I like how the prisoners are actually the first ones to take that detonator and throw it overboard.
Yeah.
And so kind of that refreshing reminder that these are human beings. These aren't it's always good to view these people, not dehumanize them, because they are human beings. Whether we agree with some of their choices and whether what some of their things are right or wrong, they are human beings.
Right.
Yeah. We don't need to worry about having a monster or a boogeyman because humanity itself is already scary about it.
Yeah, the real monsters are the people.
The friends we made along the way. What? No, totally different thing. We jump over back to Galactica. Obviously, they haven't figured they aren't aware of the prison break yet. I have written that we go back to Starbuck. I'm trying to figure out why I wrote this because this next line I'm not.
This is when Starbuck was skipping around the boat like she was high.
No, she was acting CAG.
Gotcha.
And she was basically browbeating one of the pilots for coming in too fast.
Gotcha.
Consistently coming in too fast, which is dangerous.
Right.
And she was doing it in a way that was telling him off without blowing up in his face, kind of thing. Ty saw that, and he has a different management technique completely, and he didn't understand why she wasn't all up in his crap, basically, and he didn't agree with her, and she didn't agree with him because they get along so well. And
because they're such good friends.
Seasons of the pod. I have a lot of that written right here. The thing is, I wrote ego, and then I wrote wonder if she's a real blonde.
So
is there a line that they
yes
said? Okay,
so she's coming down the corridor and she's got this kid with her.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And and as she's going through, and she's kind of, but while she's acting CAG, like she is kind of has this whole like, here, let's go skip through the daisies kind of like energy going on.
At that point, they're probably doing set cap patrols that are just mind-numbing.
Right. And as they pass through an area, someone asks, I wonder if the curtains match the drapes.
Is Baltar,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Baltar's walking along the hallway, and he says hi to her, and nice to see you, and she says something about, not really, and then walks off in her boxy and laughing.
I wrote in quotation marks, I doubt it. So I'm guessing...
The Cylon.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6. Head 6.
Oh, yes, she says, that's right. I doubt, that's right.
Because Head 6, that's the thing, is Head 6 thinks that she basically can control Baltar, by just being a sexy bitch.
I mean, she's not wrong, though.
Right, but here's the problem. Starbuck's a sexy bitch.
Yes, there are other sexy bitches.
Yeah, there are other sexy bitches other than Head 6 that have bodies attached to them.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was definitely kind of a moment there where Head 6, you could see that twinge of what does this guy think he's doing? Looking at this other woman.
I do have also written that when Ty and Starbuck are having their interaction, I do remember Starbuck asking how his thirst is. Just making fun of
him. She brought him that drinking flask, which actually had water in it. Because
isn't that later though?
Well, sorry,
that's later, isn't it?
No, not much later. It's
at the very end of the episode. That
all
part.
Right, okay,
yeah. Because I remember that's the end of the episode when they were like celebrating.
So this was, he kind of made kind of a comment about her leadership style.
Yeah, and she made a joke about him being a drunk, basically.
Yeah.
And so, fun times there. Let's see here where we go. We then go back to the ship. We're are we back? I wrote negotiate and bargain. I don't know if that's
Zarek makes his announcement to the fleet.
Yeah.
That he wants a election because the current government is not legal. Under those circumstances, I'm really kind of okay. Yeah, you're right, but when it's like 49,000 of you left.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's not like they wrote in. They're like, what happens if over half of the entire government dies? I don't know, man. We just had to set up that if someone dies, the next person in line takes it. And that's what they did. They just followed what was there. So I think they jammed it though. Didn't they say they jammed us only back
after he gets off his speech? They do.
Oh, okay. I thought they jammed it.
But his initial speech does get out to the whole fleet.
Okay. And so yeah, he wants elections, and he wants. I think doesn't he also make a argument for the prison ship? Doesn't he, that like it's to be ruled over by its own leadership or something?
They want it for themselves.
Yeah. And so we have that going on. Then we jump over to Baltar and Adama talking about how the Cylon detector is coming along.
Mm-hmm.
And we do see that, like, Baltar doesn't really have a Cylon detector, right? The last time he did it was more of his BS, right? He made it
his
up.
Cylon detector is head 6.
Yeah, but he doesn't know if that's entirely accurate. That could be just a figment of his imagination at this point. And so he's stalling, right? And I do like him kind of nervously trying to talk to Adama, and Adama's just sitting there quietly, and then basically kind of cuts through the bullshit, right? Like, I see that you're a smart person, but also, like, don't fuck with me. Just what is it you need? What is it that you need to make this Cylon detector go? And the whole time, as he's rambling, like trying to cover up his tracks, Head 6 is kind of talking to him as well. And she tells him, repeat after me, tell him these words. And so he starts repeating what she says, and she tells him that we need a nuclear warhead. And I do love that moment when she tells him, because he
yeah,
and then looks back to, and I'm like, again, he's getting away with these things. So, I mean, if I would be Adama, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Yeah, like, what's he looking at over there? Like,
when you said make Cylon detector go, I just saw that in Packlid. Make ship go.
But so yeah, he's like, hey, I need a warhead. And I think Adama, he says that they have, was it 5?
Yes.
They have 5 working warheads that they don't necessarily want to risk losing if they need them. However, he ends up telling them if that's what he needs, that he will give it to him.
Well, he really specifically wants the plutonium.
right.
Yeah. Well, and what's interesting about that, right, is that if I remember correctly, 6 gives him a base
and tells him to put the rest together.
Yeah, exactly. But he has to on the fly give a BS answer about why they need this, despite it being a conflicting thing that he's being told what they need.
Even if his answer is BS, from a logical perspective, it is plausible.
Yeah.
Because of what happened with the Ragnar anchorage. They know that radiation does affect them. They want to pass the cells through a filter, basically, which will irradiate them.
This kind of shows how Baltar character really is, because he's not, most of the time when we see super smart people, right, they're just super smart and they're socially awkward. Baltar is socially awkward, but not necessarily because of the reasons we think. It's obviously because he's talking to a head Cylon in his head. But really, he's a smooth talker. He's clever. He's quick on the catch, and so he's able to do that. As you talked about, what he just brought up was bullshit in some extent, but it's also sound because it tracks with everything they know so far. And it was something that he came up with on the fly, despite just being told less than 20 seconds ago that they're going to need a warhead.
Right.
So very quick, very fast pace. I think that's an interesting, that really just shows us who Baltar is, right? Very fast thinker, very quick to the.
Well, I think some of that, though, too, is he's had Head 6 around for so long that he's used to having to create the appearance of covering his tracks.
I do have also, my bad, I one other thing I wrote there before he asked for the warhead. I have that he yelps and drops the glass. I'm like, because he's just so socially awkward that he just drops it, everything, and I'm like,
I think Head 6 kind of like, because he at one point he was trying to tell Adama that, like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. And Head 6 is like, shut your pie hole.
Yeah.
Shut your pie hole. Listen.
You need to be useful to him. Yeah.
Yeah. And she said, I think it was, I almost want to say it was when she said warhead, and he was like,
Yep. Yeah. It's yeah. I like that. I can only imagine when filming that scene, right? Like, because I don't, for cost reasons, I doubt that they did it separately. So most likely she's in that, when they're filming that scene, she's there, right? For the actor who's playing Adama to just have to sit there and not react to her whatsoever, that has to be some great acting.
Oh, he's a pro. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we already knew that, but it's just weird because it really does feel like she's not there at all. It really does feel like that for him. But it's like, no, when you think about it, when they're filming, no, she's there.
And that actress is so good at that like super unhinged character.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, when she played Lucifer's mom in Lucifer, she was in Burn Notice.
Yep.
She plays that perfect, like, hi, I'm your friend, but I'm gonna stab you.
Yeah. I'm going to be pretty and also be a bitch. No.
Are you saying that's not normal?
I mean, hot but psycho's a thing, you know.
No, I just mean somebody being your friend and stabbing you.
Well,
I thought that's what you're supposed to do.
I mean, sometimes.
We all have friends. Don't let other people stab people. Okay, friends stab friends. That's how it works. We then jump over to, again, we're still in Galactica. We see Boomer is approached by Ty, and
Well, there's a little bit more to it than that.
Yes, and we're getting there. They kind of go into the room to get just those two there, and he straight up like looks at her and is like, "Hey, you need to stop seeing Chief. The whole ship knows. We've all known, every person on board the show, which is kind of tracks. Every time that they've gone off and done their own thing, like everyone knows. It's not a secret, as much as they try to make it a secret. Ty kind of runs his mouth with the idea that like we let you get away with this because we thought Galactica was closing. We were at the everything was gonna come to an end, so we were laid back. We were a little bit laxed. We're not anymore. We're in full war mode. This relationship has to stop. You're his ranking. He reports to you, so like this just can't happen. And so you could tell that she's not really on board with that, but also like it's still semi playing the I don't know what you're talking about. This I don't know. I'm caught off guard. I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, yeah, shut up. We know. I find that I think that's an interesting choice to do in the show because obviously we've established that is a relationship that's not supposed to be happening, but we also know the president just an episode or two ago was talking about how people need to start making babies. So like it's an interesting. I don't know. I would think that there would be a different conversation, right? Like human race needs to survive. So I don't know. Maybe that wouldn't be
and the way that I saw that is. Obviously, he knows who all went to the prison ship, right?
Yep.
And everyone's picked up on the fact that, like, the aide and the girl that he took with him are interested in each other.
Mm-hmm.
So they now have a hostage situation that, from a military mindset, you have to think, like, well, what was the distraction that let that happen?
Mm-hmm.
And was it that this girl who is military-minded, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, was too distracted by the potential love interest that she didn't see it happening. And now you're seeing that also coming in with higher ranking officers.
Officers and enlisted, which Chief Ty are not supposed to fraternize like that because she could literally have to order him to die.
Yeah.
Life or death matter. That's the reality of it. And Ty is old school military. So while they were doing the decommissioning of Galactica, that's one thing. There's no war. You're all just going to get reassigned anyway. I don't care. Now
I don't think he was sober enough to care at that point.
Well, I think he is. He does.
No, now he is. But like back at the beginning when he was like, you kids go do whatever you want.
Decommissioned. He was probably going to retire.
Yeah, he's like I'm gonna take me and my 30 bottles of whiskey.
Yeah,
and we're just gonna
find another 30 bottle of whiskey. Yeah.
We're gonna be singing 100 bottles of whiskey on the wall.
Well, as we it's already canon now that there's at least 37 bottles under his mattress. We've already established that. So like,
no, his mattress is bottled.
Yeah. It's like those walls you see like down in the Southwest where they've built like clay mud structures, but like they've got the bottle stuck in the wall for light and like insulation. That is Ty's bed.
Just pops him out the drink. There we go.
Yeah.
Right back in. We do see, we go back to the prison ship. We see that he starts making his demands. Outside of just them getting control of the ship, outside of them doing the election, he does order that president should resign immediately, and that, you know, as you said, it's not legal. Their government's not fair right now. It's not representing the people, and so he wants her to resign. Wants the elections to happen. The president straight up is like, we're not going to negotiate. Hard stop, no deals. Like, that is.
I think he went too far when he asked for ice cream.
Well, if that's the case, he could have been like, well, if you go down below, there's ice down there, so we can make cream. Just go down, and there you go. Maybe that's how they would have got them down to the prison planet. Tell them there's ice cream down there. It might have worked.
It would work for me. I'd be like, what you got? You got some mint chocolate chip? You got some Rocky Road? What type of ice cream we talking here, people? Sign me up.
Rocky Road, well, their Rocky Road's probably going to have some Rocky in it.
Ice cream? When did we get ice cream? You know.
I wrote, Adama seems surprised. I'm guessing that must be when she is saying that we don't negotiate and that we don't do any deals. I think that was a point that I think Adama might have slightly agreed with, but he didn't expect her to say it. Right? I didn't. Think
he agreed with it.
Yeah, but I think he was got to guard her saying it.
But he's thinking tactically. He's thinking, I got to talk to him. I ain't gonna get anything out of him. I'm distracting their asses.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but I just remember, I do kind of, at least from where I was sitting, I feel like he took almost like, was surprised that she said that. I think maybe I'm wrong, but that's maybe how I read that scene, because a little bit where he expected her, you know, civilian to be weaker in this situation, right? To cave to these demands versus like, no, we're not doing that. And he was like, oh, yeah. Like, great, we're on the same page. We don't need to argue about this point. We see that we go back to the prisoners and the you know, the not prisoners, but the hostages are in the cells. We see that the aide is really confused how she even got this assignment. Is like, oh, I can't believe I don't even know why I'm here. That's when the or not the aide, but the
Billy.
Yes,
Billy is
her name. What's her name?
Callie.
That sounds right.
No,
you are gonna be our resident name man. I love it. This is gonna be great.
I mean, I barely remember my own name some days, so like.
That's why we put them on the screen. We're good. See, we're fine. We're
right. Yeah, that's how I know who I am.
Callie is the one that works as deck crew.
Yes.
D is the one that worked on the bridge.
Okay, I'm thinking the bridge one.
Okay, that's D.
Yeah, and so she's like, I don't even know why I'm here. The aide confesses to her, Billy, I kind of opened my mouth and got you here. I thought it would bring us closer. Again.
And now we're sitting here arguing over who's the real terrorist, and, you know, now you hate me. Yeah.
Yeah, that worked out so well. Romance. Hear that, guys? Do not invite your crushes to prison transport ships. It never works.
Yeah. Especially maybe
check that peanut gallery.
You
We're
maybe
not going on any prison transports.
Well, I mean, I was going to say you also maybe want to, you know, consider like checking that transport manifest to be like, you know, before I bring her along, is there by chance, like, I don't know, a terrorist that maybe like committed a crime on her planet?
I'm going to just say no, because we already see that he didn't even, when he first sees him, he doesn't register that's a terrorist, even though she immediately did. But he was like, I don't know, he's just a freedom fighter. So like, even then, him checking, he'd be just a regular dude who just went over his head.
I'm imagining that nobody really looked at the prison manifest up to that point. They knew there were prisoners there. They didn't know who.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I 100% agree. 100%.
And then when, of course, he steps out and goes, you know, that's what you go, that's Zarek.
What's that sound effect again? we need to save that sound effect for later, for sure. We do see as Callie's in the cage, and there is a very creepy prisoner that is very schizophrenic and just insane, and very very clearly wanting to rape her with his eyes. He is all
I would say
over.
more sociopath, and has been separated for a very long time and thinks he's entitled to something
Yeah.
because he has power over something.
Yeah. And so that's starting to lay out something there. We do go back to again Apollo having the conversation with Zarek, and I remembered Zarek. Hey, and again they're bringing up sides. Whose side are you going to fall on? You got to choose your side. The theme of the episode. They should have just called this episode "Sides." We see Apollo holds a power. Oh, yes. So when he is talking to Zarek, right, he is basically telling Zarek that a lot of his speech is all bullshit. He kind of tells him that, you don't really want what you're saying you want. You don't give a shit about an election. You don't give a shit about a free government. He's like, Galactica is going to be on their way here. They're not going to communicate. They're not going to give you what you want. They're going to come in and they're going to storm the place and they're going to shoot everyone. And people are going to die. And he goes, that's what you want, isn't it? Right? Like, that's the great Zarek just wants to go out in a bullet storm because he's pissed off that he made a big name for himself as a freedom fighter and then was thrown in jail and forgotten about. And no one's remembered him since. So he's like, you want your last, moments of fame before you go out. And that's what and so you can kind of see that like, obviously Zarek is trying to like, that's not true. That's not true at all. But you do see in his eyes that that's kind of maybe something that is in the back of his head that maybe he himself didn't realize is kind of what he wanted, right? Like maybe that some gears are clicking that like, shit, maybe this guy might not be completely wrong, right? Like maybe I am just a piece of shit. I'm a freedom fighter, but I'm also just a piece of shit. But about this time, we hear a gun go off. They run downstairs to the dog kennels, and we see that Kaylee has shot the creepy dude who tried to basically broke into the cell and tried to rape her. She also, sorry, no, she shot him. He shot her when she bit his ear off when they tried to. That's right. Mm-hmm. We see she's shot in the stomach. She's not doing well. He's all pissed off. He's now really angry after shooting her, and he has the cage locked. He has the gun, and he's just mad. He feels that this person, as you said, he feels entitled. He has power, and so he's just pissed off that like it's not working the way that he feels in his head it should be working. And then, is this about the time? Is this about the time that the Marines have broken into the ship?
So the Marines go over in 3 ships, and Starbuck is leading up as a captain. They do a soft seal and burn through the hull.
Mm-hmm.
I never understood that one for space because you're compromising the ship, but that's okay. It's all right. So whatever. And they're going through the ship trying to get to take him out, basically. And she has been ordered to pop off Zarek the first chance she gets.
Yes. And she kind of looks like she's ready for it, too.
Oh, she is. Absolutely, 100%. She's got orders. She is a sharpshooter. She knows exactly what her job is and what she's supposed to do.
Well, and also what I remember is when she volunteers to take this up, right? First, Adama's like, I don't know if we should send you over, and she's like, yeah, she bitch, I'm the best sharpshooter.
I'm the best shot
you got, yeah.
And Ty was like, for once, I think I kind of agree with her, and I'm like, this. I think I wrote down like this might be the only time in the series that these two are going to agree together on something. They're both like she can shoot and they want to kill, so they're on the same page. I do have written here that Apollo kills the creepy guy. How does he steal the gun from Zarek? Is that what he does?
No, I think
it was
he drops the gun or something and he knocks it out of the guy's end and then shoots him.
Okay. Yeah, because I have him that he kills the creepy guy. Yeah. About this time, of course, that's happened. He's still talking with Zarek, telling him, hey, because he points the gun at Zarek,
Mhm.
and he tells him,
"Do you want to die right now, or do you want?"
Oh yeah.
He offers him. He says, "Look, we can do this two ways. You can die right now, or we can surrender to the Marines, and you will get your vote, and yada yada yada, and blah blah blah." And at that point,
well, they don't know the Marines are there at that moment too. They know they're coming.
Well, they've got an idea that they are,
yeah.
and then he notices the red dot from Starbuck.
This is just before, because as he has that conversation, he has the gun with them, and he makes the choice, because he even tells him, "How do I have your word that you're going to do anything? Right? How do I know that?" He goes, "You don't, but this is your choice, right? Pick a side, right?" No. And so he does. He stands up and he goes, "Okay, I'm gonna choose to trust you." He tells everyone to put their guns down, and then yes, at this moment, you're right. That's where Starbuck finally gets the.
I'm not sure so much whether that was choosing to trust him or his ego won't let him die.
I'm choosing that he's choosing to trust him. Why? Because I think after that conversation he had with him, that honestly he was prepared to die. I think he was prepared to go out in a
until you had a gun pointed at his head.
Maybe, and then
then that really kind of will sober you up and go, well, I die right here, it's nothing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think he wants to die that exact way. But again, I think he did want to go out. He was open to the Marines storming the ship and him having to shoot out and die.
Yeah,
so, like, I think
that's it. He wanted the blaze of glory.
Yeah,
that took it away.
He was not not ready for a one-on-one.
Yeah, right in front of everyone.
Yeah,
an execution. Yeah, but yeah, we see about Starbuck finally gets the dot on him as he stands up. Apollo sees it, pulls him out of the way before the bullet hits him. I think shoots the cage. You could see it's kind of at that moment that Zarek like registers. Okay, maybe Apollo is being truthful, honest, because like he just saved my life. Like he could have just let me die. I think so, because it's that's. I mean, what do you if you're a terrorist, you're trying to see if you need to trust this person, and this person not only gave you back your life after having a gun pointed at you, but also pulled you away from being shot at by Marines. Yeah, I mean, I would say that Apollo is probably pretty trustworthy at that point, right? Like that's. He could have just said nothing, and all their problems would have been fixed. But he chose. So I mean, he chose a side, right? I have written.
No, he didn't. He made a third option.
Well, that's true. He made a third option that becomes his side, right? His choice. I'm trying to figure out what I wrote. Apollo has teeth to mom and dad. Oh, when he decides to bark back at Adama and the president when they that's what they called them, mom and dad.
Well, because I mean, really, one of the themes in this whole episode was, well, can I trust you because of who your father is?
Mm-hmm.
Can I trust you because you're the advisor to the president?
Yep, that's true. Yes.
So he is in a situation right now where he is damned if he does, damned if he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And at a certain point, you just say, deuces. Let's throw them cards up and see where they fall.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Let me see. Let me roll this. Oh, that one. Shit, we're screwed.
Yeah.
I just find it funny that I did end up calling Adama and President Mom and Dad to him.
Yeah. Well, but we discussed this in some previous episodes. That's almost what it is. It's like a 100%. Kid stuck between two divorced parents.
100%. So he made his own side. Sometimes I read the things I write and I'm like, what was going through my mind when I wrote that? And I wrote Starbucks cleavage ? I think this is when she runs into the scene with Colonel Kai and she has like a really tight like top on or whatever and so like it's the first time we're seeing like cleavage and I was like, this is different. This isn't what we've seen of Starbucks so far. Or at least
know what you took away from that scene.
Yeah, that Starbucks has cleavage. Yeah.
Hey,
that's a bad priority. I'm just saying we know what you took away from it.
It caught me off. I wrote 3 question marks. So clearly I was like, Wait,
was this the moment when they kind of were having their conversation about,
this is where she comes to pour the shot of
water? Yeah. And he's like, we both have our issues. Mine are personal, yours are professional.
Oh yeah, he's such a dick. Yeah,
But that's where she made a point.
Mhm.
She's also an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like
she controls it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't even think I don't think.
I'm also foreshadowing for something in the
No,
future.
I know I know. I don't think either one of them are doing anything the right way, but I don't think either one of them are doing necessarily it the wrong way either. Like, I think, I mean, no one should have to be an alcoholic, right? No one should be that, like obviously. But like, I don't think, as we see, Ty seems to be under the relatively approach that he's handling it, but I also think she is too. So I don't necessarily they're not fucking up everything because they're showing up to work shit faced, right? They're not.
Well, I mean, Ty was up until they had to jump every 33 minutes.
Yeah, until that. Yes.
Yeah.
He did drunkenly throw a table and forget that he threw a table.
Yeah. And you can't fly the way Starbuck flies intoxicated. Let's be perfectly honest.
Yeah. She did help Apollo come back to the ship by hooking her Viper into his Viper to push him on board, like
at a high rate of speed.
You know what they should have? We were talking about Firefly before this. Walsh and Starbuck should have like a fly off and see who has the most craziest fucking fly ever.
Who has the best crazy Ivan?
Yes, we'll see who can perform there. Because I wrote Ty's a dick. I wrote at this moment we're right at the end of Apollo he's communicating with the president, telling him like, hey, I told him that we will give him this election. And at first she's like, I don't know why you would have said that. And he goes, well, I didn't offer anything that you weren't going to give because technically you were, you're only finishing out the former president's time, which ends in 6 or 7 months. He said something like that.
Mm-hmm.
7.
And so, yeah. And so he's like, so I didn't offer up anything that you weren't already going to do. Right. He goes, because if you're not going to do that, well,
then you have a bigger problem. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think, as I said, he made his own choice. I think he made his own location. And I think that is a very smart way to do it. Again, it shows Apollo's I think that shows a really powerful character for Apollo.
Mm-hmm.
And then as the episode ends, I do have the final moments of Apollo with the president. The president confesses that she has cancer and that she is dying because she brings up how she's not sure she's going to make it the 6 months to the end because she's dying.
Yeah.
What I like, what I don't like, but I just wrote confesses about the cancer and then credits. I was like, well, that's a way to end the episode. I have cancer.
Dun, dun, dun. I have cancer and I'm out here in space where there's all these other extra things that are going to irradiate me and to give me cancer.
That's what they need. They need to fall out in space. Space bunkers.
They are. It's called Battlestar Galactica.
That is true. Maybe each one of these ships is a different vault. We'll see how they go.
Yeah. Which one's the experiment?
Yeah. I think. Before I give my, how do you feel about this episode, Kat? As a newcomer coming in.
This one, I hate to say it, I feel like it felt a little bit disjointed.
Okay.
Because really, their main focus here should have been the whole issue with either getting the water.
Yeah. Okay.
And the prison ship,
guys. Right. The water.
Right. Yeah, getting the water and the prison ship. It kind of felt like somewhere in between. I don't know if you ever remember having to write more than just a short story, something that's maybe 5-10 pages in school.
Mm-hmm.
And you start writing the story and then you get another idea for another part of it. And so you're hey, I'm going to put this on this other page here and copy and paste it in later.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get ready to start doing that, if you don't read what you wrote and where you stopped and where you think you're copying and pasting, Exactly, but it's like 6 stories in one. And I felt like they were kind of trying to do that with this. It's like, hold on. We have a prison takeover. And we got the people back on Caprica, and we got water, and we got alcoholics, and we got love triangles, and we got Head Six who wants a nuclear warhead. Like,
and we know the Starbucks doesn't match the drapes. No.
yeah, right. We know her curtains don't match the drapes, and so it just was very.
Apparently, Starbucks has cleavage. I mean,
yeah, and Starbucks has cleavage, like, which is part of why Head Six doesn't like her. It's fine, but
she
it was
doesn't really have cleavage either, does she?
no. It was just all these kind of like weird, disjointed stories kind of coming together. I had to watch it like 3 times
It is
because I would get like distracted.
Yeah, it's clunky. It's clunky. It's good, but it's clunky.
Yeah, because I really felt like we have a whole prison hostage situation here. Like, okay, the Boondocks did a better prison takeover episode than Battlestar Galactica did. It was more cohesive.
Yeah, well, when you start this episode, when they're like, okay, we're picking up where we left off, we're going to go get water. Okay, that's going to be the episode where they're going to go get water.
Yeah.
Nope. That is not the episode.
Right. But the thing is, like, the prison takeover, though, like, makes sense in the, hey, we're going to go get water, but we need to go talk to these prisoners because we want to give them this option to volunteer to do this, and it all goes tits up.
Do you think that this episode was written by a history fan buff like Hoochman and had that in mind, where they just, you know what, I'm just going to find a way to shove this into the story somehow? Because,
But here's the thing, like, it makes sense. Everything up until after they took the prison, the prison takeover happened. Everything up to that point made sense.
Yes.
After that, it was like, oh my God, we just did a prison hostage situation and it's way too serious now. What else can we throw in here to distract people? I mean, honestly, we didn't need to go back to Caprica for that 30 seconds. We
didn't even need to go back to Ty coming to Boomer on the ship to talk about her personal life. Like, we didn't need that.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, we didn't. Like, we already know the Cylons exist, but that was literally like a minute and a half that was just like,
hey, Hilo just needed to get paid, so he needed to do a scene this week, okay?
Maybe that's what it was. But yeah, I mean, I really felt like they really should have kind of dug into the whole prison hostage situation, because in all the other episodes you had one big crisis, which was the focus.
Well,
this time the crisis was like,
crisis,
hey, we have this crisis, but we're just gonna make it like a baby crisis.
This is our crisis sandwich. Gotta have the stacks.
Yeah.
No, I will say, I also find it funny, as you're talking about, there's so many disjointed areas, right? So it opens up with fix water. Next thing, prison hostage. And then political theater, we're gonna get into the politics of our current governing system and how it's
which I could see that if they kept it in the context of like through the conversation of the hostage situation. This is why when all these prisoners looked to me to say, hey, are we going to help? I said, hell no, we won't go.
Well, this was 3 episodes shoved into one. And
I can even see like if they would have gone back to the ship just for hey, let's see what's over on the big ship. What's happening? And then they could have,
in Galactica.
Yeah. I could have seen if they would have at that point maybe had the conversation with Balthar, whose name I always pronounce wrong, and Head Six and Adama. Honestly, that should have been how they ended that episode. Was Head Six getting him to ask for a nuclear warhead?
Yeah. But no,
they slapped it in the middle. Then they slapped divorced parents on the end of it and said, have a great day. See you next week.
Which only makes me think
you don't think that they did it on purpose to make it uncomfortable for your pacing?
No. It wasn't, because it wasn't. Here's the thing: it wasn't an uncomfortable pacing. It was just dumb.
It was a choice that they made that I think, again, it's
They didn't allow the tension to actually build.
yeah, I waited. I'll explain, and this is going to be a terrible way to explain it, but I'm going to do it anyway. As someone who watches Power Rangers and loves Power Rangers, their pacing is almost non-existent. And one of my favorite seasons, Power Rangers Time Force. The first 3 or 4 episodes sets up a really powerful season. You have a lot of shit. Like, okay, we have some shit to do, and then for the next 25 to 30 episodes, monster of the week, just whatever. And then we get to like the last episode, maybe last 2 episodes, and they're like, oh shit, the show's is ending. We have to like hurry up and shove everything in the next 2 episodes to get it like so we can end the show. So like it kind of feels like that, where it's like, oh, we have all these ideas, we just need to shove it all here. Well, my only question is if this is episode 3 and they shove all these ideas in here, what is the future episodes? Are we going to get more disjointed episodes? Are we going to get episodes that flow a little better, so they had to like mush these ideas to set up the...
Well, you don't want me to answer that, though.
I know.
Right, we don't.
This is for everyone watching, Hoochman. Come on. All of our adoring fans out there.
My whole thing with it wasn't that the timing was off.
Mhm.
It was they literally allowed zero tension to build.
Yeah.
And...
sorry. Go ahead.
Because like I said, the prison, everything that happened in the prison, like there was never and it wasn't just because I know that there's like several more seasons to come. That
What?
I was like, oh yeah, we totally know that Apollo's going to walk out of this fine. No, it had nothing to do with that.
Or is Apollo a Cylon? He's going to die this week.
Exactly.
Never know.
And then he's going to still show up because he's a Cylon. That's how Apollo keeps not dying. I don't know. So anyway, but there was really, it was like, oh, here we have this tense conversation between him and Xanatar. I know that's not his name, but
let me choose your...
Hold on, so sorry.
That's what it is.
The name will become more important as time goes on.
Remember, name tag, so I remember who I am. So like they have this whole conversation and this building of trust and this, that, the other, and like, oh look, now the prisoners have taken everything over. Oh, let's segue into something else. Like, we don't really want to see what these prisoners and what's really going on there. Like, how are they actually treating like the people that are there from Caprica?
It could have been a whole episode.
It could have been a whole episode, and instead it was like, here, we're just going to give you this snippet.
We wouldn't even need to talk about the political elements. We could just talk about, as you said, the things going on the prison and how they're mistreating prisoners and how inhumane and that whole stuff. That could be a whole episode. But it's a mechanism to get to, because really the plot of this episode, guys, is going to be the political element. That is the meat of the episode, and everything that happens before that is to get us there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's. I think maybe I think that's another thing. I think that might be why it feels so disjointed, because it's using the need of water from last week's episode to kickstart this episode. But the kickstart only kickstarts into another kickstart, which goes into the actual episode. So we have 2 kickstarts getting us into it versus just kickstarting into the episode. Like, I think that makes it feel a little weird.
Yeah, like for me, it felt like they didn't allow any tension to build.
Well, and another thing I think I didn't write it down, but I do vaguely remember is this episode. I feel like the score, the music, whatever you want to say, was different.
Yeah.
It was like almost vague, like less there. And so I think that makes the episode even then feel even more unnatural.
Yeah. Yeah, it just felt very just off balance and off kilter. With like 17 stories in, a very short period of time.
As you said, you had to watch this 3 times. Imagine this came out on live TV, and then you're like, fuck, I gotta wait for the rerun tomorrow night to rewatch it because I don't know what the hell just happened.
Yeah, I would have been like, I don't understand. I'm very intelligent, but I don't understand.
You got twirly hair. I don't know what's going on.
I don't get
Oh my god!
Like, I'm sorry, I must have missed that because like right now I'm really aspiring to be like one of those rep guys' girlfriends.
Oh my god!
And
I think Hoochman just got kidnapped by himself. No.
Yeah.
We have
Blink
too many
twice
episodes.
if
You
you
can't
need
die
help.
yet. Okay, we have too many episodes to go.
Wait. That he's the Cylon. Like his programming's fighting him.
I was just the red herring. I
Yeah.
was just there to throw you guys off. He is actually the Cylon.
So
Maybe
I'm
that-
a robot and you're a fish?
What?
Yes.
I think maybe that's what we'll do going forward is who's going to be the Cylon this week.
Yeah.
Let the fans guess.
Ooh.
That was this week's episode. Next week will be episode 4 of the series,
4.
which is called. I don't have it in front of me.
Act of Contrition. And I apologize for last week because I got one episode ahead of myself.
Yeah, I put in the chat right after I was like, wait, that's not right. So now we'll get there. You were just jumping ahead. You saw the future.
I am untethered from the temporal continuum.
Timey-wimey. It's
Timey-wimey,
all
wibbly
mushed
wobbly.
together. If you liked watching us this week, I think Kat has some great things to tell you about this channel.
Well, here at Feast of Fandoms, our big goal here is to help all of you fans enjoy your fandoms to the absolute best of our ability. So, of course, obviously, we're here on Sundays twice a month for Battlestar Galactica. For all you Marvel fans out there, we have MCU Monday where they're going to talk about everything in the Marvel Universe. Right now, I believe they are still finishing up Wonder Man. I think they still have a couple more episodes of that to go. Tuesdays, we try and focus on Trek Tuesdays. That's when our Jonathan from CLL podcast, the Captain's Logs and Lightsabers will have their podcast going up. They also do some episodes of the week, some other kind of fun stuff to keep that vibe going. Wednesdays and Thursdays, as we start heading into that downward slope, is when we go ahead and pick up with our Star Wars. We've got the War of the Stars podcast on Wednesdays, and Thursdays you can roll on out into the evening with the Cantina Happy Hour. Fridays, we've got some really great stuff coming your way. There is Courts and Confusion, where Jonathan from Captain's Logs and Lightsabers reads romantasy books and gives you his thoughts from the perspective of a man. We also have, for our anime fans out there, we have Snackame, which is a once-a-month episode that shows up over there where they talk about some really great anime series. And some of them are related to some fun anime and Japanese snacks and foods.
Quite.
Yeah. On Saturdays...
Wait.
Yeah. On Saturdays, you can catch me and Tyler here on the Geek Gauntlet podcast. We're going to cover your anime news. We're going to cover your gaming news. We're going to cover your comic books and anything and everything in between. So if we've entertained you at all here, or if you have any interest in any of these other fandoms, make sure that you go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. That way you get that notification every single time we have new content or anytime we go live.
And if this turns out to be unintentional ASMR, have a good sleep.
Now, with Hoosman here, you got to help me with IT, right? So we're just going to fix them. Because that's our resident IT guy here, right? That's how we know. Thank you guys for being here. As I said, all of this has happened before, and it's going to keep happening. We have a great team here. We have a great series planned ahead for you guys. I hope you enjoy this program going forward. There's going to be a lot to come, a lot to happen, and we got to figure out who the Cylons are. I can't even. I had this whole thing ready to say, and then you just have to, you mess it up there. All I can say is, I want to say by your command, but that's actually not what I wanted to say. I wanted to say, our lovely go-to, and I can't even say it because you've thrown me off now so much. So you want to lead us, Huchman, with our send-off?
No.
So say we all.
So say we all. Thank you, Kat. All right, take care, everyone, and have a good one.